Blade and Whistler. And also, but the part when Whistler's like, give me the gun. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nerd on the Podcast. You didn't need, but you deserve. Where all levels of nerd are whipping around their nunchucks for some reason.
Katanas.
That was not a katana. You cut your arm off multiple times doing that.
No, I didn't.
He didn't say he was good at it.
They're this long.
You're all welcome. Yes. So it's time to wake up. The world you live in is nothing but a sugar-coated topping. There's a world beneath it, the real world. For thousands of years, they've walked among us, a society with a lust for power. He is our only hope and their greatest fear. Today's episode kicks off our month of February lineup with the 1998 film Blade.
Nice.
I wasn't too far off, right?
No, actually, I was like, wow, how do you know that?
It's pretty close. We're going to get DMCA'd for that.
Yeah,
Way to
sorry.
go. But before we get too far into it, let's introduce the host. My name is Tom.
I'm Corey.
And I am Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by all the vampires. No, just kidding. This episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation that is powered by Patreon. As a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun perks like bonus episodes, early access to episodes, boner episodes, swing, and that actually worked.
Yeah.
You get access to the Discord server channels that are only accessible to Nerd On Nation members. So, and the best part is you get to be a part of making us even better, stronger, faster, harder to kill.
Your only obstacle of getting into that Discord?
It's 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
The bouncer is only 4 quarters, baby.
Yeah, so you can have all of our strengths, but none of our weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check it out, nerdon.tv/Patreon, and check out that Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. And a huge shout out to Odyssey, Apogee, and
Embody audio. Embody audio.
Hell yeah, check it out. But that is the housekeeping. Let us get on.
I can't stop smiling because you let me do it. So excited.
I got nothing.
Let's get on with this daywalker of an episode.
Yeah, let's kill the vampires.
You got nothing? You got this.
Well, usually I use the title as something.
Yeah.
Let's blade this episode. Motherfucker's always trying to.
Let's get uphill with this episode.
Let's Whistler our way through this blade of an episode. It's close. It's the best I got off the top of my head. It wasn't my job to do that. It's not my job to do that.
It's improv. I just kind of we'll see what happens. Hey.
So we'll move on to our first 2 segments of our show. And the first part deals actually with the end of the episode, because at the end, we're going to rate it from 1 out of 5.
Yes, we are.
So that brings us to... Guess that Grump.
He's a monster, but he's also human. He's more human than most humans.
And he's a vampire too.
Something worse out there at night. It's me.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Tax evasion.
So if you're brand spanking new...
Oh, man.
If you're brand spanking new to Nerd On, welcome. You're welcome for all of that. This is the part of the show where we're going to go around the table and guess who's going to have the lowest score for our rating. And no matter how high the number is, the lowest one will be the Grump for the week. And since I always explain, we always make up the song. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Do it.
And I'm going to guess that the Grump for this episode is going to be Corey.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
Corey.
There's
Because
one vote for me.
This is Blade 1. Not Blade
1.
2.
Oh.
So that's where my guess
I've expressed
lies.
my love for Blade 2 too openly.
We've all expressed our love
Yeah.
for Guillermo del Toro.
All
and
right.
Ron Perlman.
So I have to go first and choose between my friends.
Yes.
It's not much of a choice.
It's not much of a choice. I don't know. There's this movie, like, I feel like has a little bit of a place in everybody's hearts.
They don't make them like them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Corey.
Ooh.
Ow. Not even close.
Okay. I'm gonna say Josh.
Okay. Oh, because the vote's on me.
Because the vote's on you.
Because the Nerd On Nation votes me.
So you sitting at home?
But do they?
Are you sitting at home going, "You fools"? Tom loves, he loves Blade, But we didn't know this because we're the Nerd On Nation, but he did say he was upset with his score before we started recording this. So you should have voted for him, you idiots. Well, then
Stimpy,
guess
you
what?
idiot.
You could speak with your vote by joining the Nerd On Nation. You could be that guess that Grumper, Gatorade, day walking,
La Magra. That's what it's called.
I know. Guesser, Grumper, Gator, Grumper, Guesser.
Chosen one.
Serum.
And you can vote. What we do is we throw up a poll on our Patreon before we record any episode, and you can vote for who you think the Grumper, Guesser, Grump is going to be, or the Grump of the episode is going to be. And if you get it right, you get a shout out on the episode. And we are keeping track this year of who gets the most right in the polls. And you will be given a title at the end of the year. We're still
working on
workshopping the
I
title.
call it. I say the Grand God Emperor Guesser.
Ooh, I kind of like that. And so with that, the Nerd On Nation has spoken, and Tom and I have the same amount of votes, meaning Josh, with overwhelming votes, you were voted the Grump of the episode. So that means Tom has
See what he did there?
no votes.
no votes. And then it'll be between you and me at the end, which I'll say you should go last because you got the Nerd On Nation votes. And I think that'll be, the suspense will be nice. So with that, 2
Nice.
votes for each of us and Tom with none. And that's our votes.
Okay, cool. So now that we did that, we'll go to the complete spoilers of that and do our initial impressions and first reactions. That's what I'm calling it for right now.
You do the thing.
Yeah. So Josh, how about you go first?
Okay, I'll go first. I don't remember when I saw this first. It probably was around when it came out because I've always had a fascination with vampire movies in general. And this came out and it was, it's like your stereotypical 90s movie. Fucking EDM battle sequences.
It was called
and
Techno at that time.
Techno, yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely enjoy this movie so much.
Yeah.
You cannot go into this movie and expect to take it seriously. Like in a sense
Wait,
of
there
like
aren't an underground society of
No,
vampires?
well, I mean there is, but no, everything is over the top. Everything like dialogue sometimes it's
Everything's
just like
flashy.
yeah, everything's flashy. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Mhm.
And it was a joy to watch it again for this. And some things you're just laughing because it's just like we have come a long way in cinema. We have come a long way. But if you think back 1998, damn,
Yeah.
that was a ride.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Like he's a kind of vampire that
He's a
fights
half- he's a half
vampires. That
Mhm.
fights vampires.
Yeah.
I mean, how dope.
It's
Yeah.
Shaft, but a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Daywalker.
He's a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
He's a bad vampire. Shut your mouth. For me, I don't remember when I first saw this first either, but it would have been around the early aughts, as they're calling them nowadays, early 2000s. So for me, I think my dad, I would have to guess Jolie showed this to me because I remember seeing Blade 2 in theaters with him. So I think he was a fan of the genre. He's always been the adult in my life who was like, here's Marvel, here's DC, check out these superheroes, read these comics. And so that's what I've just based on my own life experience. He must have showed me Blade 1, maybe even in anticipation for Blade 2. And I remember just being absolutely blown away. I hadn't seen anything like it before. And I, credit where credit's due. This is, a lot of people like to think that X-Men and Spider-Man really set off the superhero franchise, which they did, but they would not have been made without Blade.
Mhm.
But this is also Marvel Studios. I think it was called something else.
They're called Marvel Enterprises.
Yeah.
This was their first
Mhm.
Yeah.
like official. So what we know now is the MCU and everything. Like
Yeah.
this was their literal
This
first.
is the Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you like ice cream? Well, here's rock salt.
This is rock salt.
And cream. But seriously though, this is like such a fun movie, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. But watching it for this was like, I realized how much of the action is done in camera, and I want to talk about that a little later on because it's obviously with all the CGI we have nowadays, it's not so. And just the amount of charisma that Wesley Snipes was allowed to have
Oh my
as
God.
Blade,
Yes.
the liberties he was given, and I want to say, without having seen any interviews with him specifically saying this, the fun he had, I want to say, and how much he cared for this character is a blast. But yeah, I think to Josh's point, this is such a fun movie, and I had watched it about 8 months ago with my wife Dana, who had never seen it before, and I remember thinking like this could go one of two ways. She's not an action movie type person, and she could, it took us 4 times to watch The Matrix before she stayed awake through the whole thing. And this is not far off from The Matrix, but it is enough that we watched the whole thing, and she was like, "That was awesome. That was way different than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot of fun." It's filled with catchphrases.
Oh my God.
Filled.
Infinite.
Like
The dialogue
writers,
is just-
I just can see the writer being like, "Yes, oh yes, he'll say this." Obviously, more that stood out than others to me within my life, thanks to Tom especially. But just to echo Josh here, it's fun. If you haven't seen it, please go in with an open mind. 1998, but be along for the ride. Allow the film to approach you as what it is, and you will have a good time.
You guys are so weird. The only reason I say this because like I feel like you guys are prepping people to be like, "Oh, it's not the best thing ever, but it's really it's one of the best movies out there." I'm telling you right now.
I will, having immediately heard feedback from someone who did not grow up with the film, Tom, I can tell you it's weird as fuck. There are some things in there where you're like,
No.
I'm gonna let my imagination stretch without getting into spoilers. Oh, right. It was the 90s. That's right. Okay, continue.
Nah. Watching this movie.
Before we
You
started
can't
recording.
say nah to fact, Tom.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, I was talking about in somehow referencing this as a good bad movie, and you were just like,
What do you mean?
Do you think this is a good bad movie?
"What? What do you mean?
It's a great movie. It's just of its time.
To me, this is badass. This is a badass movie.
Uh-huh.
You watch the movie, it oozes with style and personality and character and charisma that you're just like, I need to finish this movie no matter what.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I need to watch the sequels."
Tom, to put it in perspective with you, when I've shown some people Terminator 2 who have never seen it, I still have to go, remember, early 90s. Yeah, because there are some shit. There's some shit in there that does not age well.
Yeah, sure. Obviously.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's a poorly written movie or anything. There's just some things where like the music and some of the CG, you have to be like, just remember 1998.
I guess
Gotcha.
maybe it's because it's one of those like how like if you listen to music that you listen in high school, it's kind of like a dope hit.
Yeah.
To me, this is one of those dope hits.
Sure.
So like for me, I'm like leather jackets, sunglasses. The Matrix never got me with that.
Mm-hmm.
Blade got me with that.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh, this is why it's cool to be the bad guy. This is why it's cool to have the muscle car and the motorcycle and all this stuff and like be slick and cool and use a katana, all that stuff. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
You also grew up with Stallone and Schwarzenegger, so this hit all your buttons.
Oh, this hit all my buttons. But also, I would say too, this movie also kind of like created the room for you have to have the Marvel body.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wesley Snipes is jacked, and I was like, God bless. But anyways, my initial reaction for this movie, you kind of heard them. This is a great movie. I love this movie. I will speak. I'll defend this movie till the cows come home.
Yeah.
This movie.
And that is why you have no votes.
That's why I have no votes. And it's just so cool.
It is fucking cool.
It's
movie.
so cool, but also it's like
it's so cool.
And you don't know where it's gonna go,
Blade
and then it goes there.
Effortlessly cool.
But like you're like, okay, cool. Like he's a vampire hunter. He's gonna kill vampires, and we're gonna introduce that. But then they're like, here's the lore. Here's like,
here's who he is.
Oh, and then they don't have to do the whole, like I love Raimi's Spider-Man, but they don't do the whole like I'm learning how to use my powers kind of thing. It's like, oh, he's in
Shazam.
He is here. We're learning about him. It's about us on the ride, like Hellboy. Like okay, I don't need to know like how did he discover his rock hand, like all this stuff. Anyways,
This is gonna be fun.
I super love this movie.
Yeah.
That being said, let's move on to the next 2 segments of our show.
Brief synop production.
That is
Blade, half man, half vampire, coming at ya.
Raw.
That's it.
Nope. Half mortal, half immortal. Blade is out to avenge his mother's death and rid the world of vampires.
That's it.
And scene.
The modern day technologically advanced vampires he's going after are in search of his special blood type needed to summon an evil god who plays a key role in their plan to execute the human race.
I mean, that would fit totally.
It is.
Production. Distributed by New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, as such things as Lord of the Rings, Elf, Rush Hour. Director, Stephen Norrington, known for Death Machine, The Last Minute, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh!
Yes.
That's a good bad movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Producers, Peter Frankfurt, known for Lethal Weapon 2, Juice, Scrooged. Wesley Snipes, known for the big hit, Down in the Delta, Blade 2. Robert Engelman, known for The Mask, Kazam, Mr. Nanny. Writers, Stephen S. Goyer. David, sorry. What? Oh, I don't know how that. No, that was me. That was totally on me, everybody.
Oh, because you scrolled.
Yeah, I scrolled. I was thinking of Stephen Dorff. I just love him. Anyway, David S. Goyer, known for The Dark Knight, Dark City, Constantine series, based on Blade by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan.
It's pronounced Marvel, not Marv Wolfman. Marvel.
No.
No,
I'm
Marv.
just kidding.
No.
No. Cast, Wesley Snipes, known for Demolition Man. White Men Can't Jump, New Jack City.
And thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Yes.
Tu Wong Fu.
Stephen Dorff, known for Felon, Immortals, Somewhere. Chris Christopherson, Payback, The Jacket, Paper Hearts. N'Bush Wright, Dead Presidents. Oh, that's such a good movie. Zebrahead, Fresh, and Donald Logue. Donald Logue. Gotham, The Tao of Steve, and Just Like Heaven.
When I saw him in this, I was like, I forgot.
To me, every time I watched Gotham, I was like, oh, that's the guy from Blade.
Well, my dad and I used to watch that the sitcom he had with the guy who's in
King of Queens?
No. His brother is played by the guy who's in Seven
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Psychopaths. No. I'm gonna look up the TV. Continue.
Spin City.
Spin City, got
I
it.
remember that one.
Yeah. Release date, August 21st, 1998. The runtime is a sexy 120 minutes. The budget, $45 million, and gross, $131.2 million. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 57% critics with 108 reviews and 78% audience with 250,000 ratings.
Grounded for Life.
Oh my gosh.
My
Do you
dad
feel
and I
better?
used to
Do you
watch
feel
that
complete?
show. Yeah.
But that is the production.
Yeah.
That is all of the stuff, the intro. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, as Tom says, and we're gonna start with favorite parts, favorite characters, talk a little bit about our qualms, rate it.
Yeah.
And
I just wanted to do the inflation rate of the cost of that film in 1998 versus now.
yeah.
So $45 million would have been $76 million now.
Okay. All right.
So
All right, there you go.
what's that?
All right. We
I
out here.
mean, we can't. I feel like we got to start it off with the line. I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember. That's where it comes from.
No, the ice skaters. Motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. That line to me is the coolest fucking thing. I got so.
Let's break it. Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know, it's very Blade, very, very Samuel
Some
Jackson.
motherfuckers. Yeah.
Some motherfuckers
Oh.
trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It's-
imagine that.
It's his. Yeah. Fuck you too. From the thing. That's
Yeah.
that moment. That's that moment.
You know, it's
That's
just
me. I'm
in that-
motherfuckers.
In that sense, it's so funny to think about movies today that everybody thinks are so like groundbreaking. Like even just, I mean,
That's his
respect.
I am Iron Man.
Well, I mean, it's just like respect where respect is due, like Black Panther or Deadpool. But like, he's cussing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a strong black man.
Yeah.
Lead superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like he came before all.
Yeah.
But also,
all of
heads
this.
are chopping off.
Heads are chopping off.
blood everywhere.
My favorite part is around your favorite part. It just gets me every single time I get it. Is when he cuts Frost in
Is it
half,
this?
and then it's when he
He-
words what the fuck,
Yeah.
because
He doesn't,
it doesn't
say anything.
take much.
Just mouths
to,
it.
It doesn't take much to. No, it does. It would take a lot to shake him, but he just cut a guy in half. He does
And
his
he
line,
Windows
his
98
landing,
back together.
Yeah.
and then he turns around
MS
and,
Paint back
and he-
together.
and Frost comes back together, and he's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
The
that
fact-
just
The fact that he didn't say it I thought it had been so long since I watched it. So I watched this when I watched it with my wife like 8 months ago, 6-8 months ago. I thought the sound cut out. And I was like, oh, wait a sec. But he just mouths it. No audio, no dialogue.
That takes a special kind of what the fuck when you're just like, what the and you don't even say it. And also like just before that, when he rips a guy's throat out and throws the throat at the next guy he fights.
But also does like a king of fighters kick, and then just kicks the ground. The guy flies.
Yeah. Like, I have to admit though, like Frost needed something like that because if you look at the two of them together, Wesley Snipes would break him in fucking half.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the point. He becomes a god.
Yeah. There's no competition in that fight.
Yeah.
Until that happens. And you're like, oh, damn.
I would also say I loved just also like the second time you see Blade and he's saving Karen, who I think to me cinematically is the best Karen in the world now.
I was just going to say, we actually paused the movie and we were like,
her name's
Karen.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like a backhanded
compliment.
Yeah. Like you just like, okay, Karen.
Yeah.
Like
it's okay, boomer. Yeah, but it's a derogatory term in jovial senses.
Yeah.
But like this Karen is amazing.
Yeah, it's Karen.
But like when he gets shot by the police and he's like, "Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?" I was like,
that's
yes,
one of my favorite parts.
I was just like, oh yes, because it's like, you think about it's like in movies the way they portray cops is like they shoot at whoever's the good guy.
Yeah,
they never shoot at the bad guy, right? But then it's like him actually saying something back. But then again, it also has more interpretation and like with, just cops and black people. So
yeah,
like, there's a lot going on in this movie.
He's just so amazing. He's like, I'm saving your fucking life.
Yeah.
I do have to admit, the effect, not all the CGI holds up, but the effect of them disintegrating.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Is a great effect.
Oh yeah.
It's really wonderful. Like, I think my favorite scene, my wife and I have share the same favorite scene. The first club scene with all the blood sprinklers and the whole fight there is so. Fascinating.
It's such a good opening scene.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Talk about it. Like we go into a car. And we got this, hot babe and some dude, and he's like, "Oh hey,
I'm gonna get laid tonight."
And
basically.
she's like, "This is, my hot rod pointer, whatever." And they go, and then they all of a sudden like it starts getting weird. Like so, going to a meat packing facility.
I'd be out.
And and then she just starts making them, and then it's like it's a little underground club. Like, oh wow, that's cool. Like there's these like little underground clubs and stuff
and
like that.
the sprinkler system
and the
goes
springs
off.
goes on,
and it's blood.
And it's blood. And then so this normal dude who's just thought he was gonna get lucky one night. It gets saved by our hero, and it's a black knight. It's a guy clad in leather, and he just murderizes everybody.
My favorite moment in that fight is
the blade.
The blade.
Boomerang blade.
But how it's shot is really well done, right?
They just whip pan really hard.
They didn't have a big budget at the time. CGI was not what it is now. If you look at this scene again, Wesley Snipes is doing all of his own fight choreography. And he's doing it really well.
Part of his stipulation, like he was like, I want to do all my own stunts.
I believe that.
I don't
because he fucking kills it in this. But that moment is a lot of camera tricks, right? So it shows him holding it, and then it whip pans, and all you see is a bunch of blur, and then it whip pans to the other side of him catching it, and then you
smiles.
finally zoom out and see what it does to everybody. But that camera trick right there, when I saw that, I was like, oh.
It's a wonderful introduction of a character.
It's so simple, but it's used so effectively.
Yeah, it's a wonderful introduction to like this is a great like origin-esque story where you're just like you don't need to focus on all the fat. You're just like you're introducing us to this badass character in the most wonderful badass way.
The first thing you see is just that boot when the human crawls out of the blood orgy.
This is probably one of my favorite like superhero costumes like ever. I love
the sleeveless tactical vest.
Yeah. Yes.
I will say, like, to your point of like great origin movie. It's like it's interesting. It's like it's not really an origin. It's like this is a first standalone movie, right?
Yeah.
And they use a lot of the same techniques that Hellboy 1 does. Of like you use another character who's not the titular character to introduce the character, and then we're learning about that character because the audience surrogate is learning about it. Even though Karen like isn't like a hopeless dummy.
Karen.
Yeah.
She has like. She's a she's not
hematologist,
not a phlebologist because those
she studies blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like she has an actual like she has things to do in the film, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought like again, this is just great. Like you just go straight to the action, and in the opening scene, everything you need to know. Like humans are cattle, vampires run these like sexy hot things. These are how our vampires are.
Yeah.
There's a stalker in the night that kills them all. and then cops show up.
Do you know what the first film to make vampires sexy was?
That one Joel Schumacher one. I don't know what the name.
Lost
of it.
Boys.
Lost Boys.
It was the first time they were like, vampires can be sexy.
Yeah.
And they were right. And
I
it
mean-
worked.
I mean,
It
if you-
stuck.
I mean, if you
Sexy saxophone guy. I mean, come on.
I
Put
mean-
your pants in chains.
Oh, and Lost Boys?
Lost Boys.
Oh, God. Yeah. I was like, yeah. That was that's another one during the quarantine. My wife and I, she had never seen it. We watched. And we are like, this is actually
Anytime I hear a
Really
saxophone
great.
solo, I just think that is the person that is.
But I
it's,
mean-
it's one of those movies where you're like, please remember when this was made, but it is a good movie. Michael. Sorry.
What about
Blade.
Interview with a Vampire? They were hot Victorian.
Right,
dudes.
but the Lost Boys came first.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
Blade.
Blade.
Other favorite parts.
I also like when I don't remember his name, but
Whistler.
no, it was the kind of the secondhand guy to Frost. He's going on about how
Donald
cool.
Love's
Grounded for
character,
life.
Yeah, he was like he's
I'll
going
look up
on
the
about
character
how
names real
cool
quick.
Blade is, and he's like, yeah. And Frost is like,
It's-
oh yeah, he's got the
it's-
sword, he's got the thing, and he
it's
did
Quinn.
the thing. Yeah,
He's like, yeah,
shut
yeah,
the fuck up.
Yeah, it's
Like I
Quinn.
just like I like Frost as a bad guy. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
he takes his sunglasses, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because there's a whole moment where he catches the sunglasses and puts them back on his face. Gotta love it.
Don't steal a
and
man's
he
sunglasses.
he's getting chopped up into bits and losing arms left and right.
Can we talk about Whistler for a sec? Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
First of all,
Old chillo white guy with a beard.
yeah. Damn it.
Wait, father,
I walked
father figure?
right into that.
So maybe
Father
we should just
figure.
move on.
So anyway, no. First of all, music legend.
Mhm.
Music. Chris Christopherson is a country music legend,
Yes.
icon.
So I didn't know this before watching the film in recent times because I remember I think you had mentioned that.
Yeah.
And so there's a how you met this person, how I met this person.
Right.
Like I met Chris Christopherson's Whistler.
Whistler.
So that's such a interesting
And this
fact.
is also, 90s machismo, two tough guys who clearly love each other more than anything, but you don't say that. You don't say I love you. You show it other ways. I also just love the idea of the tech guy being old. I don't know why that flip is so interesting to me. Maybe that's because I grew up in the thousands where the tech guy is always the nerdy younger guy with the glasses or whatever. But in this, it's Whistler.
the only exception to that.
Mhm.
I mean, and this is a thing where
Q.
I was gonna say Q.
But that came from the 70s.
exactly.
Q is a character from the 70s. And what did they change in the 2000s?
He's a young guy.
He's a young nerdy guy.
He's a young guy.
So I love that idea in this. But I don't know. Whistler and his relationship obviously is a very strong point of this film. Very big turning point for him to go on a vengeance. Lost his mom already. Now he lost Whistler. Just a rampage. And I love it.
I mean, you just
we won't talk about Blade 2 yet,
but
but
you just love the relationship between them, right? Where he's
Yeah.
just like bringing in strays, and he's like, "You should have killed her." He's like, "I didn't."
yeah.
They have that and that's the thing. You could tell there's a historied relationship between
Yeah.
them, and that's again where I just loved the writing of it, where they escape the little archive area and they go on the train, and then he has to take the serum, and then
Yeah.
now Whistler has to explain to Karen what he is.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, cool. Now we get the good exposition here, and it feels like good because it's like, it's funny because we've watched it multiple times, and so you're like, oh yeah, I guess I do have to explain that he's a half vampire because we just know,
we know. Yeah.
right? But then,
This was the audience's first take. If you weren't a comic book reader, this was it.
yeah, if you didn't watch the Spider-Man animated series, you didn't know.
Yeah.
But and that's the cool thing, right? So you're watching this, and there's all these good info drops, right? And Whistler is the guy. Whistler is the mechanic. He is the tech guy. He is the weapons master. But also he is
Chill white guy with a beard.
chill white guy with a beard. But it's funny. We were talking about haven't watched this in such a long time. I forgot the whole part with the garlic essence.
Oh yeah, to stop
And-
him
and
from
that's-
changing.
No, in the store.
Oh yeah.
He just goes into that store. He meets his friend. And he's like, "Hey man," and he's like, he gives him this bag of coins or whatever, and then he gets the thing. I was like, I totally forgot the entire scene, and I was like, oh wow.
I did like the idea, the way they set up Blade and Whistler. Right, is they're just this it's just the two of them against
The world.
all the vampires.
Mhm.
But they have these little tricks that they've learned, right? So Blade refuses to drink blood, so they have their serum. Or the fact
Familiars.
that they do have a way of if you're to save you, but only if you're about to change
Mhm.
into a vampire. We can try this thing, and it might work, it might not work. And I like that kind of, as badass as they are, they're really underdogs. They're
Mhm.
really they're hated by both the general populace of humans and by vampires. They're on nobody's side but their own.
What is the movie saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the extension of that, I just love the idea of having science on their side when they do have Karen helping them, of just like the blood coagulant deaths.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, like
Yeah.
just like
Ballooning up and shit like
yeah,
that.
because you have the tech guy that builds the cool guns and shit and gadgets, but like having a scientist on the team is just like, well, now we're working with blood. There's a lot of
Silver
these
Blade and
like
stuff too. Oh.
and being a virus, that kind of thing is just like, and the idea of there being born into vampirism or being
as
made
high
a
blood,
vampire. Yeah.
royal blood in them,
Yeah.
and then him who's just like who just turned. And but I love like that bit because it comes back later when Karen's like, "Where'd you get that scar, Frost?" It's like a born vampire would be able to heal anything, but
Yeah.
you must have got that before you turned a vampire. And then,
Using it against him.
Um,
Let's talk about Frost for a sec. You're a fan of
Steven
the
Dorff.
dwarf.
yeah, I like
The
Steven Dorff.
Dwarfmeister.
Dorff.
How do you feel about him in this role?
I just think he can do no wrong.
He's the fucking punk rich kid,
Yeah.
hedge fund dad who
Well,
wants to change the world.
I think because of this, there definitely became a. I was gonna say like, I like how it kind of expanded like how pale vampires are
Right.
because of the mascara.
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved, like when. Also, I didn't remember how violent and gruesome that one head vampire like's death was. I'm like, oh my god!
Oh yeah.
They were like, yo,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones melty candle face. How about shred apart like leather? Like
Slowly melting. Yeah.
ah.
I actually think that this movie is a propaganda film made by Big Sunscreen to get everybody to wear more sunscreen.
Some banana boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get
The
kids
sunrise,
to.
sunrise death.
Yeah.
There should be there should be a thing like a seasonal variant of the like suntan lotion that's just like for you vampires.
Yeah. Oh, extending the leather fetish here to the motorcycle helmets and everything to let them go outside. It's pretty genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty genius.
Also, shout out to Brenda Song randomly in this movie, who's the little girl that he's carrying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. But also, she's so died. She's so died.
Yeah.
Getting thrown through the hot dog
Bonnie
thing.
went, come on. And I was like, really? That's where you draw the line?
Like her face is exploded inward. Like, come on. Like that's
Like, why isn't she moving? Well, here's the thing. I mean, she just got thrown past the thing. Well,
oh, she's in shock for sure.
yeah, she's in shock. It was
But no, I was like, oh, she died. I'm like, oh, I forget. But and that's the thing where they do the hero thing. There are hero aspects of like choosing to save Karen, choosing to not kill her, choosing to save this girl instead of going after Frost. There's good humorous moments too, but also it's tied in with heart, where like you can see Whistler's struggling, and then Karen's like, you care about him a lot. He's like, he makes the weapons, I use them, and then he's like, what my mom always said, like a dead heart, a cold heart's a dead heart, and like there's that part of like, yeah, he has to still maintain his humanity.
Yeah.
So and also like it still does pull at the heartstrings where there's moments where he ends up meeting his mom, and I love also it kind of like uses the trope of like calling someone by their first name or their real name.
Yeah.
It's like Eric, and it's like, no,
he's in trouble.
and it's like, oh man. But also, I will have to say, also the whole part when him and Karen's like, take my blood in order to heal him was very, very NSFW. I was watching, I was like, is this kind of hot?
Yeah.
Is this kind of
No, it is.
sexy? And like, cause it's just very like panting, rhythmic thing, and the blood's happening. It's like this is doing something.
I'm
to me.
feeling things.
This is doing something to me.
Favorite
very,
characters?
very much so, on purpose for that. Favorite characters?
Yeah, favorite characters?
Oh, yeah.
How many we want to do?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I mean, it's Blade and Whistler. I mean, it's
Okay, two then. I guess we're doing two. favorite characters.
that's my favorite characters. Everyone
Facts
else,
that you just laid down of just like, well, it's
It's these
Blade
two.
and
it's
Whistler.
Blade and Whistler. Like you could take everyone else and change everyone else in the movie, and it Blade and Whistler.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I want to switch it up, and I'll be Blade and Frost.
Okay.
I just thought it was like, you have an interesting hero and you have an interesting bad guy.
Frost's death. I know we talked about the line preceding it, but like
All the
kicking the coagulant into his forehead.
Oh yeah, it's
And
badass.
like drawing focus to it even within the scene of like, well, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything. Like just you're drawing focus to this like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to shout that out.
But the way that he kicks it, he just does this like really fancy
Spin
like
kick.
kick and then go. It's too good.
There's so many badass things. The sword, the
silver.
the
This is a series of so many badass moments. It's just like, there's another
The
one.
writer just went, and then it'd be badass if he did this, and then right after that it'd be badass if he did this,
And then he said, "Oh look, it's Tuesday."
oh, it's Tuesday.
But then like also, anyways. So my favorite two, Blade and Whistler.
Yeah.
Easy, Blade and Whistler. And also, but the part when Whistler's like, "Give me the gun,
Yeah.
give me the gun," and walk away. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, it fucking hurts. And
so
then,
good.
but then you're like, oh, they done fucked up.
Oh yeah." But then also,
They all done
but
fucked
you
up.
see that humanity in Blade too. He's like, "We can heal you. You're not too far gone." He's like, "It's too far gone."
When
I was
he's walking away from Whistler dying, I went, oh, they just messed with the wrong
You know, like
dude.
before that, you're like, man, this is a badass. Even like they're going at each other. Like Blade's badass. They're pretty cool too. But when that happens, you're like, oh, it's over for them.
No,
It's
this
done.
is-
That's it. You
but
know
like,
it is.
also like when he pulls down the cloth and he doesn't even look at it.
Yeah.
He just knows. I'm like, it's like one of those things you can't face, which you dread, and you're like, oh, this
you
sucks.
took the last thing he loved.
Yeah.
That's it.
he had purpose before, but now he has like fueled purpose.
Mhm.
You fuck.
Fuel meet fire.
Yeah.
I mean, there's part of it's kind of like, it's like, I had a father, I never had a mother, and then he kills his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, now we go on to qualms.
Yeah.
2 qualms for this movie. Who wants to start?
I don't really have any concrete qualms, so I'll start us off. I mean, I don't.
It's a product of its time.
It's a product of its time. That's it. Like if I were to make any qualms, like, oh man, some of the CG, but that's the best CGI they had in 1998.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to believe that The Matrix came out a year later, but you also have to remember The Matrix revolutionized CGI.
Yeah.
They made things to do the things.
Yeah.
For
Again,
that movie.
technology will push film
Yeah.
forward.
So
Yeah.
for me, I'd say really none of it. The only thing I had was like the ending pacing is a bit slow, but that's about it. The very final. Till it's the fight between Frost and Blade, it's a little slow for me.
Because it's the down part where like Blade's taken, Karen's in trouble, all this stuff. It's just you're just seeing bad things happen left and right. So you're like, okay, move on.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh,
But none
mean-
of those affect anything.
Stretch qualms in a sense. I don't like the ham-fisted like you're the chosen one speech while Whistler's dying. It's kind of like a, oh yeah, and then there's this kind of
The last bit of exposition Whistler needs before he dies.
yeah, exactly. Where you're just like, I didn't need that.
for La Magra.
We're killing off our exposition machine. Not that that's all he was, because he's fucking dope.
Yeah.
But we need to
Um,
get the last bit out of him.
Yeah.
Can we get a Michael Caine?
Just like they're wringing the rag, like they're like, oh no,
There
there's
it
more.
is.
There it is. Okay, you're the chosen one. And I was kind of like, man, his mom's a bad guy. Make his mom a bad guy?
Because he has a dad.
Like, he has a dad. Like, I don't know. It was just like his whole like.
There are archetypes at play, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take away your qualm.
Yeah, you are.
No,
That's
I'm
cool.
not. But it's like it's that thing where it's like, the child must like learn to walk away from the father, reconnect with the mother, and then they become a whole person. When
Mhm.
like that person's incomplete because they don't have those things, right? He's
Yeah.
like looking for the person who killed his mother. He finds him, but he also finds out that his mother doesn't even like want to be with him, and that like that should break a person. But then this is at this part of
I
the
think that's
story.
part of it where it's just like they don't have. I in my mind it's like something like that and everything that because it's kind of the fuel to his fire in the
Mhm.
sense of like kind of getting vengeance for his mom is a part of it where it's that kind of thing, but also like that should like break him even more. But he's a badass, so
then-
we just move forward.
And I think also to your point, like the movie is 2 hours long. They probably could have made it 2:15 and then made it a little bit more dramatic and have more drama and have more emotional parts for him. But
But it's Blade, 1998.
It's 1998.
and, like,
If, and that kind of I think if
we don't
anything,
got time for that.
If anything, that makes us kind of like I wonder if they'll do that with the new one in the MCU.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. But I mean, again, these are stretch qualms. It's something that
you can
it's
still
like
have 'em.
well, and this was the deciding on this topic was we were talking about before we started recording was just one of the funniest moments in Nerd On because we were trying to figure out what to do next.
We're usually so intricate on how we plan out our months, episodes we choose.
and something happened with the topic that we were going to do next, and we were like, okay, we need something to fill it, and Tom just goes, Blade, and I just went, yeah, Blade, yeah, we're doing that,
I didn't even respond. You didn't even say that much. You just pointed at it and went, yeah.
yeah, we're putting it.
And then we moved on. That was it. And we all just
yeah.
I supply the ideas you talked
So
about.
it's like-
we silently agreed that's what we were
This is
covering.
one of those movies that you're like, we're gonna watch Blade. Dope.
Yep.
Dope. Let's do that. I'm
Yeah.
so down for this.
Yeah.
For me, qualms. Not really much. Kind of the same vein of both of you guys, where there's not really a big one. It does feel dated when you watch it, and it just kind of has that like TNT rerun quality to it. And again, it's
Hell yeah.
technology, it's budget. It's nothing anything can really go against it. I think there is no, there's not much. There's not much you could say. I mean, I wish Karen maybe had more to do at the very end, but like
Yeah.
she did create the anticoagulant that like kills Lamagra, right? But like at the end, she's just with a shotgun trying to kill Raquel, and I'm just like, it would be kind of nice if she had something to do with like the very end, like, she was the final one that got that, or she got to kill Quinn because he bit her first, right?
Yeah.
I do like the fact that she does make a cure.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, he's like, it's still me versus everyone else. So it's like, you keep your cure, but just make me a better serum. So it's like, not talking about the next few films, but it's like, I kind of wish he would have stuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cause it's like, oh, this is the new Whistler to him, all that stuff. But the next film is amazing. So I'm not mad at all. So yeah, I just wish Karen had a little bit more to do to the plot. And there was, I don't know, would it have changed if they turned her closer to a romantic interest? I think it might have sullied it a little bit more, because it's like,
Glad
well,
they
now,
didn't.
now they have to do this. But there's that part where you kind of think they might have wanted that.
There's like
Because
speak
of the
on that.
implication.
Yeah, well, it's also just kind of thinking about no, during like the blood scene, there's like a caring. Like
Yeah.
there's like there is a closeness, which I think sometimes is more powerful.
Mhm.
Like with Whistler of there's a closeness that doesn't have to be romantic. It's a caring. It's a take my blood.
Yeah, well, there's a moment where Frost tries to antagonize you. He's like, you seem tense. He's like, you need to release something. Is Blade not giving it to you? And it's just like, he's trying to get in her head, try to piss her off and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But it's like, was David S. Goyer trying to implicate that to begin with, that like there was some kind of unreciprocated thing, but he's all very mission leveled, It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things that's like, I don't know. It's interesting. Or was it like, no, I'm just making Frost like a scum of the earth kind of character.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
fun.
Both.
Which, to that point of people who like to, cast who's the greatest villain of all of cinematic history, I think Frost is one of those. And one of the things, you don't have to feel sympathetic for him.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be like, I get it. Where it's like, no, he's just really ruthless. He's really smart. And he's like young blood. And I was like, no, I'm going to take it all for myself. And I'm like, this guy's like Frieza.
This guy fucks.
This guy's badass. So I'll end that and we'll go into our ratings.
You're first.
I'm
Yes, sir.
first. My rating, and I'll give everyone a little bit of the spiel how it was before. We
Yeah.
write down our numbers
Yeah.
beforehand. I write mine in my phone.
Solidified.
I write mine in my phone. And I wrote a number and I was like, I don't know if I like it. But I recently thought about thinking about other episodes of films I've rated. And I rated this lower than some of those. I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not fair. That's not okay. So I put the number higher. And so the number that I'm actually sticking with.
A lot of explanation.
Hey, if I
Thank
had
you
to,
for the exposition.
before I die, I have to give you the exposition. Bring it out one more time. Mine is a 4.2.
Oh.
Corey.
Okay. What is yours?
Oh yeah, I'm next, huh?
Yeah.
4.2.
Oh.
On the nose.
Wait.
Is yours 4.2?
Yeah.
way.
No, really?
Yeah, mine's a 4.2.
So my original number was 3.9.
yeah, no way. It's a 4 at least for you.
Well, I hate to say it. I rated Matrix Resurrections 4, and I was just like, no,
Yeah.
this is way better. This is
way better than
this is
that.
way. But the thing is, like, I was gonna do 3.9. I was like, this is like,
What a
The-
specific rating that we all. Wow.
yeah,
Goodness.
we all jumped on. I just felt like at 3.9, it was
It
like,
deserves to be in the echelon of
yeah,
fours.
but like, it didn't feel like a masterpiece of
it's
a
not
film.
like a whoa, bro.
But-
4.5? No. Whoa,
But
whoa,
then,
whoa,
and
whoa.
then, the critical response and all that shit too. It's like, okay, some people kind of felt like a little bit of what I felt of like, it's really good. It does what it wants to do very well,
Yeah.
but it cannot be taken as a drama. It cannot be taken as like a heartfelt story. It's like taken as like, this is one of the best action movies to me of all time.
Until Blade 2.
Well, the thing about Blade 2 though,
Wow.
the thing about Blade 2 though,
There's some setup
it's
for that.
really good drama.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good drama and very good character. Better character than this.
So that means everybody gets a shout out.
Everyone gets a shout out, baby.
Air buddy.
I mean, everybody gets entered into the
The database.
The database for the end
Yeah.
of the year. So with that, Dana P, Mitchell G, Logan B, Charlotte G, Justin, Matt R, and Noe S. You all get shout outs because you're the Guess That, Gatorade, Grumper. Guess
It's a
what?
group of
We
them.
all got it the same guesser.
It's a gaggle of.
It's a gaggle. It's a guessgle.
It's a
of
gang.
guessers.
Yeah. Yeah. Good one. We'll work on that.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
I the other day someone said, "What do you call a group of grips on set?" And I said, "A grabble, a grabble of grips."
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because grip,
No.
grab,
Yeah. No.
grip, and grab.
Nope.
Get us out of here. Get me
No,
out.
you
I
don't
call
have to
it
explain
a
it.
union strike.
Oh God. Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening or watching if you're on the YouTubes. What did you think of Blade? What are your fond?
Do you like Blade?
Are you excited for the new one?
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali?
If you'd like to continue the conversation,
Yes, I
of
am.
course you can go on to all of our social media, but the best one, I think the most fun is to check out that Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. A lot of cool people over there, just open to talking about all sorts of fun stuff like Blade 1998. So head on over there, nerdon.tv/Discord. Mentioning up above, if you're listening, or if you want to listen, we're everywhere podcasts can be heard. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, everywhere. So check it out. And wherever you are, rate and review us. That kind of stuff really does help because people make decisions on whether they're going to listen or not based on that. So rate and review, share us with your friends and family.
If you didn't like it, share it with your enemies.
Yeah, if you got a frost in your life, send it to them. Check out our website. All of this stuff that I'm just spewing out onto the airwaves has all of that information, nerdon.tv. But that's it. That's all the infos, all of the
That's all you
stuff.
get.
Oh, one last, because it is really important.
That's not all you get.
You get more, because that's what the Nerd On Nation is. You get more.
Look at that Segu.
Segu. Check out the Nerd On Nation. You do get to support us, and you get more for your 4 quarters.
4 quarters, baby.
Check it out, nerdon.tv/Patreon.
Moss is Moss.
But that Moss is Moss.
Is that Taco Bell?
No, that's Live Moss.
Oh.
Live Moss.
I just
Kinda-
said more is more.
Yeah,
Or
Moss
you
is
said
Moss.
moss, like grass moss is moss.
Moss is Moss,
It
man.
works on so many levels.
But that's it. That is actually it.
That's all you get.
Take care of yourselves. You
That's
know
all
the
you
drill. As always.
That's what I want. I don't know what you want to hear. It's like I want to be told that I can get all the things I want.
I meant about your score. That's what we're talking about here. You're like, what do you want on your fries? And you're like, all my hopes and dreams. You're like, I asked you about
Expectations.
fries.
Expectations, bro.
Expectations kill me.
Ending broadcast.